And welcome back into the Reckoning Sports Tourism Podcast. Don, we have got a hell of a show today.
Hell yeah.
A little local flair, River Run Park. We're going to talk to Tara Tubbs with the City of Northport. She's the city engineer. We're going to talk with Frank Summers with TTL, the engineering group that's building out the park, the ballpark. Their lead designer, Chase Lucas, is going to be joining us a little bit as well. And, I feel like we've talked a lot about River Run Park. We've teased it. They're obviously our title sponsor. I went back to my WVUA days, Titer Insider, our Titer sponsor, our title sponsor. Really looking forward to hearing more about this ballpark and really the entire facility, the Northport Shores project.
I think that you're going to be enticed to go down and visit. After you hear what Tara is going to lay out, and Frank, and of course Chase, to want to go down there and take a look about what's being built.
Yeah.
Don't mind if I do.
Because the future is very, very bright, both for local and the tourism events that are going to be brought in.
Woo!
This won't be your cookie cutter facility.
No.
And Tara is also going to talk a little bit about what all is encompassed in Northport Shores.
Right.
It's not just River Run Park with the ball fields, with the baseball and softball. There's a lot more to this than just that.
Absolutely. It's going to be a true gem for West Alabama, for the Tuscaloosa community, Tuscaloosa County. And really excited to get into this conversation. So let's just do it. Sugo is Tuscaloosa's newest Italian restaurant, offering a wide range of delicious, authentic Italian cuisine. They have a great lunch menu. They are open 11 to 2, 11 to 3 on Sundays. They have specialty sandwiches and pastas that you won't find in the evening time. They have delicious specialty cocktails, and no trip is complete without dessert, right? An outstanding homemade tiramisu that they offer, as well as a variety of other Italian desserts. That's Sugo Italian Restaurant. Visit them online, view their menu, make a reservation at sugoitalianrestaurant.com. They're located on University Boulevard in downtown Tuscaloosa. Well, Don, we talked about this one for a long time. River Run Park, our title sponsor, our friends over at the City of Northport, they're moving and shaking. That's a Donism. I'm going to reuse that one. Really excited to have two of the driving forces behind this project on our podcast today. We've got Tara Tubbs, the city engineer for the City of Northport, and Frank Summers, the VP over at TTL, the group that's leading the build out for the baseball facility. Really excited to have you guys on and to get to know you guys a little bit. And so Tara, I'll kind of start with you. What's your background and what makes you so excited for this project?
Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to talk about this project. I feel like it's a huge project, and I don't feel like a lot of people know about it. So we appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm from North Alabama. Moved here to go to college and never left. I graduated from the University of Alabama with a civil engineering degree. Worked in the private consulting world for a while. I actually had the opportunity to work with Frank for a few years, and then I moved to the city of Tuscaloosa. I worked there for 14 years. And been at the City of Northport for almost 3.5, which it's gone by fast. It's gone by fast, but we've done a lot of good things. And so I'm happy to be able to be a part of this project. I think it's going to be very important to the community. And I appreciate you letting us be here to talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate you having us here. I like Tara. I actually moved to the community in 5th grade and pretty much grew up here. Been here ever since. I actually graduated from Central High School there across the street from us. And also went to the University of Alabama and graduated in civil engineering. And so, a lot of the projects that we've worked on have had an athletic component over time. And so this was an opportunity when the city reached out to us about master planning all these athletic facilities, not just River Run Park, just an incredible opportunity, I think, for West Alabama and the city. And I just invested a lot of time after playing sports of coaching, youth, had younger siblings that played, actually played their entire time at Warrior Baseball, which is right here by the new complex. So, you know, it's just really exciting to see such an awesome facility coming online for the young kids in the community, and then also those, you know, that will be coming to our community for tourism, you know. So just really excited.
You know, this is one that I've been looking forward to for a long time because, of course, with Tara's background, knowing, you know, sports tourism, well, tourism in general, whether it was the air show, I think the first one she tackled was we had the triathlon. And matter of fact, they put that triathlon on so well that for the last, I think, 20 years, Tuscaloosa area was the go-to spot for USAT. And people raved about it. They continued to bring more events. So she knows the event business. She knows the sports tourism business. This gentleman right next to me, I think he's probably seen almost as many sports complexes as I have. And of course, you know, when the opportunity came for me to leave Florida and come back here and help do some consulting on this project, I jumped at the opportunity simply because this is a game changer for the entire area, not just the locals, but when you start looking at what they're going to bring in with not just baseball, softball, but all those components to the program, it's really going to be not only economically impactful, it'll be first class because, of course, her and Glenda are part of it. But the other part is for our locals and the influx of tourists that will come in, we will end up doing well in the future, showing off our community. So excited about that. Obviously, I wore a hat for the occasion, and I can't wait to get back over there. You know, it's now trending for me. About every 2 weeks, I'll run out there and see what's new, which I know you'll get a chance to talk about later. What is new? What is going on? Sod and parking and ingress, egress, all those things. So thrilled to have them on the show today.
Absolutely. And you know, I think it's a good rule of thumb. You never want to be the smartest person in the room. But at this table, we got 2 engineers. Pretty clear that you and I are definitely not the smartest people in this room right now.
I'll sit over here and just drink coffee. Well, tell us what's actually happening in Northport, the projects. I mean, of course, we've got this one. There's a lot of folks who want to know, what is this one? You know, it's baseball and it's softball, but what's this about Northport Shores? And then if you want to veer off a little bit, tell us the Tinsel Trail,
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid? Why?
Tell us everything that's going on in Northport.
Everything Northport. All right, that'd be fun. I think I kind of want to go up to, you know, maybe 10,000 feet and talk over, like, what is Northport Shore? I think there's a lot of confusion on what is Northport Shore and what is River Run Park. So, as Frank alluded to earlier, when I first got to Northport, I was tasked with building several different things. One of those being a sports complex, tourism sports complex. And so we started looking at, okay, where is the best place to put this? You know, how can we facilitate the land that the city already owns? And as we were able to start master planning and compiling the amount of property that the city actually owned or had access to, we were pushing 300 plus acres on the river. And, you know, that was just, when we figured that out, I mean, we all got stars in our eyes. I'm like, there's so much we can do here. I mean, it's so underutilized. We've talked a lot about it being one of the best recycling projects in the nation because it literally, our property was given to us basically because the Corps of Engineers dredged out the river for the dam. They put all the dirt as a spoil site, and so now we have this great piece of property that's 35 feet above the river. The views are spectacular. So we started looking, okay, what can we do with this? What can we make this complex be? And Northport has always prided itself in being very unique. You know, so Tuscaloosa is very much known as a college town, a university town, you know, football, and Northport's building a little bit more artsy, a little bit more home, you know, bedroom community. So we wanted to stay with that feel and that to make sure that when you came to our Northport Shore and our River Run Park, that you felt like you were coming somewhere that was unique and that you knew where you were, that you weren't just standing in any sports complex, in any high school or, you know, small community college, you would actually know where you were. So we started thinking, okay, Northport Shore, what can we have here? What does our community want? Very important, nature is very important to them, history is very important to them, and being on the river, there's a lot of both. So we went through looking at the different properties and just a laundry list of things that we want. We want walking trails, we want baseball and softball facilities for tournaments and also for our kids. We want playgrounds, we want pickleball, there's basketball. There were so many different things that we wanted to provide. So we went through them, checked them off, and one of my favorite meetings was Frank shows up to the conference room with a bunch of basically like paper dolls. So we have all these cutouts of like, this is how big a field is, and this is how big this is, and we just kind of moved them around until it made sense. And so we came up with this overall master plan that is Northport Shore. Okay, so that is the 300 plus acres that the city has, and hopefully it'll be, we have a lot of private development interest, so we hope that this is the community that you have on the shore of Northport Shore. Part of that is River Run Park. Okay, part of that is the River Run Park baseball and softball facility. The 9 turf fields that are under construction now. So that's just a piece.
And as the crow flies, that's just, Kentucky Park sits here, and it sits up higher.
It does.
Warrior
It sits up
baseball
high.
is over here.
Yes. So we have the famous dirt mound that's out there. Because of one of the projects that was happening in our community, Wrights Ferry Road, we were able to purchase a lot of dirt that we would need for this whole Northport Shore development for just ridiculous. I think it was what, $3
It's like $2
$2 a yard. And
So
so
more recycling.
yeah,
Talking about
more
a
recycling, right?
project.
Yeah, we don't want that dirt to go away.
Well, we had
And they needed
Yeah.
to move the dirt, and so there's collaboration.
Yes, and so I have big dreams, and so I kept thinking, okay, I have big dreams, and we have this much money, so we had to make sure that we've been creative along the entire way to make sure that the vision is out. So behind the dirt mound, if you were playing ball at existing Warrior baseball, is where the construction is.
And again, as the crow flies, so you've got that area where the River Run Park is. Does it go down a little bit? Does it cross over the road? Tell me more about that.
So River Run Park, or Northport Shore, is if you were to enter 30th
Okay.
and like going down towards Oliver Lock and Dam Road.
Yes.
So that's one of the first things we did. We started meeting with the Corps of Engineers. Hey, this is kind of our vision. This is what we want to do, and really get their feedback, because Northport Shore also has a fishing component in it. So it was important that we met with the Corps, because they have Oliver Lock and Dam. They have 2 boat launches there now. Our vision and our master plan shows that doubling into at least to 4, adding about 200 more parking places for boats and trailer parking, and have a hotel that not only can serve the fishing community, but also serve the fields, the baseball and softball fields. So, we met with Corps early on, talked about what we wanted our vision to be, and we're actually working with them to get a lease and to operate and maintain a lot of their property to be able to add to what the city already has, just to be able to expand more trails and be able to really capture that fishing. Fishing has not been captured on the Black Warrior River, and we want to be able to do that.
Tara gets it, because there's something called the Alabama Bass Fishing Trail, and we're not part of it, but we've got some of the best fertile fishing in this state right there on the Black Warrior, but we don't have the infrastructure. So they're building that. You talk about year round. It's not just that people come in for a fishing tournament day of. They come in and pre-fish. So that's tourism right there. And then, of course, it affords our locals.
They also have a thing called the Alabama High School Bass Fishing Tournament.
Which we hosted years ago, and we had to bus them to Binion's Creek, Binion's Landing, from Tuscaloosa County High. It was okay, but this is going to be so much better.
And I know that because I was one of those moms. And you talk about, you got to pre-fish. You had to pre-fish a couple of days. So you talk about hotel nights.
Amen.
Because you got to show up like on Wednesday so you can pre-fish on Thursday and Friday, and then you have the tournament on Saturday, and then you may get high enough that you have to fish again on Sunday. So yes, I followed my child all over this state with that. So if we can bring those dollars and that here to this community, I mean, I think that's just another thing that we should.
Which I'm going off script, but I mean, it's a segue. Tell us a little bit about your experience with baseball and travel. Did I hear earlier that you were traveling all around, not just to see these facilities as a vice president of a company. You were actually boots on the ground going to participate in these tournaments. So what was your experience with that, and then how have you brought that into this project?
Well, when the city came to us, with this, hey, we've got this vision, we've got some property that we have, and they essentially gave us a wish list. And these type projects don't come along very often, especially, I guess, from a civil engineering standpoint, to actually have a blank slate, if you will. And so we took all the things, hey, we want baseball, we want softball, we want tournament fishing, we want everything we do, we want to be able to host tournament level. And you got to remember, what we see in most communities, okay, is communities decide, because to your point, and sports tourism is communities can really do well financially with it. But what we found is a lot of communities, typically their baseball, softball, soccer, football facilities are typically for their local people to use. They're typically property that's pretty cheap, it's usually not the best locations. Sure. And then what they do is they cannibalize that and they turn it into tournament facilities to generate income for the community, and then it kind of pushes the local folks out. And so one of the things they made clear early on is we don't, number one, we don't want any impact to our local play. Matter of fact, and really they shouldn't, because it really should be incorporated in. As an example, take tournament fishing. We have 12 high schools, and almost every high school, whether it be a county school, a city school, or a private school, has fishing teams. Mm-hmm. If you have the facilities, then those local schools can host regional tournaments, they can host state tournaments. You have the defending state champion in, I think, 4A fishing right here. And so a lot of our community, all these sports, it gives them the opportunity to host bigger things, baseball, softball as an example. Why are we traveling to other communities for regional play? Why are we traveling for regional softball tournaments? And I'm talking about the Alabama, High School Association. Mm-hmm. Last year, Hillcrest won the state championship in 6A baseball. American Christian Academy came in second in 4A baseball. I think Northside girls were 4th or 5th. So why are we having to travel? We could host those things here. And that's one of the things they made very clear is with any of these fields, with any of these facilities, whether it be pickleball, whether it be volleyball, cheer, we want to be able to handle tournament level. And so when you look at the field configurations, is all the baseball and softball fields are designed to do Little League all the way through college on softball level. So girls can play on any of the 9 fields all the way through the college level. And then on the high school level, you can play on all 4 of the larger baseball fields. So you can play Little League baseball all the way through high school. And then the signature field is NCAA meets all NCAA regulations. So what you find is when you host tournaments, when communities host tournaments, if their fields don't meet the requirements, the specific requirements, the Alabama High School Association or the NCAA, you have to start getting write-offs that says, well, this doesn't meet this, this doesn't meet this, and they didn't want to have that. Sure. So that's not something they have to compromise on. And so we were able to have this blank slate, 300 acres, as you said, and then just start programming and plugging in where do things fit best, and then how those get built would probably be, as the first one goes, and then there's excitement, there's, financial income of the first one, and then you just kind of keep rolling into, but you have a plan, so everything kind of ties together. One of their biggest points was, no matter what we do, we want people to be able to park their car and never get in their car again. And so basically downtown Northport via the Levee Trail, which runs from downtown Northport. Of course, it goes further than that, further east than that, but you literally could park at this facility, any of these facilities at Northport Shore, and then you could ride a bike or walk to downtown Northport. You know, there's some restaurants, there's shopping. And then to Tara's point, there's also a lot of private property around the 300 acres they have that, you know, in most communities, when things like this kind of start going downhill, they start developing to support, you know, if you go around the southeast. And I'm kind of living that right now. I mean, because I have younger kids, and, you know, as we look to do, we love to play our local ball. And then what happens is then when we get into the summer and local ball kind of winds down, then we do some travel. We kind of control hours. We do about a 2-hour radius. You know, we don't want to wear our parents out. But some folks travel a lot further than that. And when you look at a lot of these facilities, it just gave us an opportunity to give them feedback of what are the pros, what are the cons with a lot of these other facilities. And I will tell you, what they have programmed into this thing meets the big three, and that's players, coaches, parents. What do those three groups need? And, you know, as a parent, you know, what do you need watching all these games? Man, you got to have some shade. Oh, yeah. and I mean, especially in Alabama. And in the summertime in Alabama, you need some shade. And so those are the things they had. They activated a sports subcommittee. And these are individuals that have young boys playing baseball, young girls playing softball. They have been to all these different things. You know, what are the things that you need? And they programmed that into what they're doing. And so that's what makes, I think, this be very unique.
Well, you know, something, sitting here listening to you talk about it, I think in terms of so many facilities around the country, it's just they drop them in and there's nothing around. I look at Micro Soccer Complex up there in Memphis area. It was FedEx, and then their 27 fields, and there was a gas station. It took a while for them to end up building up, and now it's big out there. There's communities and whatnot, lots of shopping, but it's still not on site. What you guys have to offer is for that component, for those mamas. Now, of course, we know that mamas have got time on their hands and they can do a whole bunch of that. Hell, before too long, we're going to end up having Amazon coming out to the ballpark and dropping them off.
We need to put some Amazon lockers.
I was going to say, yeah.
No kidding.
But, you know, I look back at our project down there, you in Foley, you just mentioned something that we needed more of, and that's shade. We had 6 fields, 5 and 4, all in a row. And a funny story for you is we had some council that wanted me to go out and book lacrosse. Well, you know the term value engineering. We didn't have much money, and yet we're going to go after lacrosse, this segment. Well, you know what we found out is I tried to tell them that lacrosse ball will go almost as fast as a baseball. You throw that ball, that's going 85 miles an hour, and if you're throwing it behind where the walkway is, guess what? We got to build nets. We need nets. $265,000 later. The walkability out there was great, but the problem, and the safety got better, but we still needed more shade. When I came onto this project immediately, I could see a woman's flair to it. But also, like you said, the subcommittee, there were people involved in this that actually are getting it right. It's not just the aesthetics, it's the walkability, it's the closeness for shopping, all those things that'll make it special for the parents. As far as the ball players and the coaches, I know you got it right on that one for sure. So, and then last but not least, with this little tangent, you know how I go, I get on my soapbox, but
Not Dawn.
Not Dawn.
Not Dawn.
you have
Between Dawn
built,
and Frank, me and you are fun.
what you have built in with Tara and Glenda, these are people that were involved in the operations of events at high levels. Amphitheater, live at the plaza. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I already mentioned USAT and the air show. You know, it's one thing to say you want to bring an event in, it's another to perform, to put it together. There's a lot of that. So I think what they've brought to the table is a whole bunch of experts. And you had mentioned earlier about regulation size for NCAA. Who's to say, and others, NAIA, junior college, NCAA, high school, you've got the dimensions that you can go out, work with Robbins over there at Visit Tuscaloosa. I know we're going to talk about bullpen here in a minute or two, but you've got people that can help recruit these events because you got it right. You got it right on the dimensions. And of course, when you start looking at what this place is going to look like aesthetically, I can imagine there's going to be some very successful recruiting events that'll come in here, solicitation. So anyways, I'll get off the soapbox, but can you tell I'm excited about what they're building?
Just a little bit, yeah. I think I can see that excitement exuding over there. But yeah, no, it really does sound, I love hearing, first off, I love hearing a government getting it right for once.
Me too. It's not open yet, but.
Well, hey, let's look at all these potential problems and let's come up with solutions before they become problems.
And this has been a sleeper project because it's somewhere that is not visible and it's been, just has not been talked about that much, which is a shame. But from our perspective, from trying to get it done, I mean, we've been able to roll.
Sure, yeah.
Because
There's some benefits to that, yeah.
there is some benefit to that.
Yeah, well, I'm just excited as Don about it, but I don't. I'll let him go on those tangents a little bit. He likes for me to bring it back in.
Well, my co-host isn't just a guy that was a sports anchor. He also was down there in College Station, Bryan College Station, working tourism. Of course, he went through a divorce down there.
Oh, yeah.
Not personally.
Not a personal divorce, a business divorce.
The two entities split up, so he understands what that vibe is like in a community.
Well, we had a facility, Veterans Park and Athletic Complex, VPAC. That was the big crown jewel in College Station, and one of the draws to it was right across the road in the city of Bryan, not in the city of College Station, was where all the hotels were. And so, like you talked about, the walkability factor. The problem is at VPAC you couldn't walk across the road. It was like a 4-lane road. It was. You'd be risking your life trying to walk across it, but so you'd have to physically leave VPAC to go to your hotel, to go to the restaurants that were right across the street and in a different city. And that's what I love hearing about River Run Park, the walkability, the Northport Shores aspect. And you could walk to your hotel room, leave your hotel, ideally, hopefully, walk straight to a baseball field for the day, for the games upcoming. So it's a really, really awesome project, and it's something that I think is going to be really, truly unique to the state of Alabama. In that.
We've got space programmed for 3 different hotels on site if we needed them. We're moving forward with 1 at this point, but we do have space programmed for 3.
And there's a lot of confusion, I think, sometimes on that. A lot of people say, well, where are those? Yeah, we don't want to lose Warrior baseball, but those hotels, those spaces that can be programmed, they actually ring River Run Park, which overlooks the river, which is south behind Warrior Park. So that's the luxury of it all, is they are essentially recycling about 60 acres of what was dredged out of the river to build, and it was just left there, and that's why, and it created just tremendous views, not only for the park, but a lot of the auxiliary development she's talking about, that they have places that they can land lease and develop other type facilities, whether it be hotel, indoor facility for sports, things like that.
Real quick, not only talk about the hotel itself, talk a little bit about the developer behind it. And, of course, what got me so excited early on was when I heard about the company or the facility that you guys went to visit. I tried to steal their groundskeeper.
I hear you have a little history there.
Yeah, a little history. I studied up on that project up there. Tell us about Grand Park Sports Campus and Birch Dalton and the hotel that'll be coming online.
So as we were going through the process, we had this laundry list of items that we wanted, and there was many sports. We had the fishing, we talked about that, but we wanted to be able to provide a place for locals to play tennis, pickleball, cheer, dance. I chased my granddaughter all over the South. Well, actually, this year we get to go to Dallas for cheer, and so Bama Bounders and a lot of these local places, they have to go to other communities to even host tournaments. So we go through, we have the long list of all these things that we want to be able to provide at Northport Shore. So in the process, we're like, okay, so we need to go out and find a team that can actually operate and maintain River Run Park when it opens, somebody that's accustomed to the travel ball, somebody that understands the need for local play. And also we knew we have all these other areas programmed in where we wanted a basketball facility, a cheer and dance facility, some hotels, some restaurants. So we also identified the need to have a developer come in and help us walk through both of these. So when Northport Shore develops out, it was very important that we have one team that works together, because what we don't want is Frank's over here, he has a big basketball tournament this weekend. I'm over here at baseball, I have a big baseball tournament this weekend, and now we're conflicted, okay? So, or he doesn't have anything this weekend and he hasn't taken his trash out and hadn't mowed his grass or anything else, and here I've got one of the biggest, baseball tournaments. So we wanted this seamless Northport Shore. We want it to be, when you arrive, we want it to be a destination, a lot like if you were to show up at Sandestin. You're in Sandestin, but you have all these different things you can do while you're there. So we did RFPs for a team, one to come in and operate and maintain the facilities once they're up and running, and then one to come in and actually work beside us on being able to develop this vision that we have. And we were very lucky to be able to, University of Alabama is the gift that keeps on giving, but there is a student here, and their father is from Indiana and actually played a big role in Grand Park in Indiana. And so they put in an RFP. And Bullpen is one of the operator for Grand Park. And then Birch Dalton has created since Northport Sports Development, and he is on board with us to be able to go in and help us with the vision for developing out the entire area. And it's been a absolutely wonderful partnership. With the vision and the knowledge that they've had, just the little things like, let's not build one huge building, let's build smaller separate buildings so you can host basketball and maybe cheer and dance on the same weekend if you need to. Let's not keep pulling floors in and out. The logistics, the things that when we had the Alabama League of Municipalities here and we had to bring a floor in, into the indoor practice facility, those things add up and get expensive and take time. We want to be able to capitalize and be efficient and as effective as possible. So let's think about, okay, what can be housed in this together? Volleyball, cheer, dance makes sense. Basketball makes sense here. Maybe indoor baseball and flag football makes sense. So we're trying to start really focusing in that direction. And so it's been a great partnership. We've made a lot of progress there.
And I think one of the unique things about this is, like I had said earlier, a lot of times in a lot of communities, you're kind of cannibalizing on local parks and facilities, and usually they're not necessarily in the greatest place. All of this is happening in, I would say, 50% of it is fronting the river. Mm-hmm. And so it's a place that you're going, a lot of families are going to be going to spend a lot of time, whether it be cheer or whether it be basketball or baseball or softball. And they have been very adamant about, we want to expand trail networks off of our levee trail. We want wooded trails. We want nature trails. We want paved trails. So again, all of these are interconnected as they build out. And so again, that's just another thing to help benefit the families, because most players have a lot of siblings. Right. And what do you do with them? And so.
Got to entertain them somehow. That's right. Well, hey, Jacob's waving his hands at me. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to continue this conversation with Frank and Tara when we come back.
It's time to get noticed with Southmark Design. Southmark Design is a locally owned advertising specialties company right here in Tuscaloosa, specializing in in-house graphic design, commercial printing, and a number of promotional items. We're proud to rep Southmark Design products right here on The Reckoning. These great polos, these great hats. They look great, they feel great, and most importantly, they get us noticed. So give Scott and Scott a call. They are, again, locally owned. They put the customer above all else. Give them a call at the number on the screen or visit their website, southmarkdesign.com.
And welcome back into The Reckoning. I said commercial break. It was really just an excuse for me to go out and grab a beer here at Druid City Brewing Company. But
Do what you gotta do, right?
we took the break anyway, right? Anyway, we're continuing our conversation with Tara Tubbs and Frank Summers about River Run Park and the Northport Shores project. And we talked a lot about sort of the technical aspects of the design, making sure the dimensions were there for, all levels of play, making sure that the Northport Shores project in general was walkable. But I want to hear a little bit about the actual aesthetic of the park and of the project. Of course, right? I'm a creative type person. I was a communications major, so I've got to talk about the aesthetic, if you will. So I understand it that classic baseball was kind of the look, right? You guys drew from Rickwood Field up in Birmingham, Wrigley, Fenway. Talk a little bit about the design and the aesthetic that you're looking for with this project.
Well, and I think we kind of mentioned too that, Northport is really unique, and so we wanted to make sure that we continued that vision with what we create for River Run Park. And, when you talk about history and you talk about baseball, I mean, you got Rickwood, you got Fenway, you got Wrigley. So it was really important to us, okay, how do we build this classic baseball structure and softball structure that will stand the test of time, that will always feel like that it actually looks better with age. I mean, for a municipality, it's great to be able to build something right off the bat, and then 10 years, okay, how are we going to fund it? And a lot of times they don't get maintained properly. So let's do something that we can afford to maintain and operate. And as it ages, it just ages with grace and looks better. So we really went with that wood, the vintage green baseball, a lot of metals, a lot of materials that you see in these classic baseball stadiums. So we're very excited. We know, and to bring it into this time, social media, we've got some Instagram moments. We've got some, pictures, or we got some great places where you take a picture of your team, take a picture of of you and your family when you get there. So we've got a lot of different activities. It's a beautiful, beautiful facility.
And that actually did come up. The sports subcommittee, the mothers especially, was like, where am I taking a picture of my kid and his team or her team? And so they even thought about, where are these iconic pictures? Where can these photos be taken? So that's the level of detail that they kind of thought through for that. So,
And that's outstanding. I mean, you guys have, all that shoreline you talked about all the time. I mean, there's Instagrammable moments and locations kind of all throughout. So, yeah, just looking at the renderings, things that I've seen about this project, it looks absolutely beautiful. And another Donism, first class over there.
Tell me a little bit about traffic. I mean, and
There's always
Wi-Fi.
one of those in the room. Always got to bring up traffic.
I'm glad Dawn asked that question.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Only reason I'm bringing it up is I'm having a flashback of another project I work in. Ingress, egress, drop-off areas, something as simple as Wi-Fi. Those things, as an old coach, as a salesman going out and bringing events in, when I was wearing that other hat, was stuff that I was having to learn on the fly. And of course, they all cost money.
Well, luckily, civil engineers think about infrastructure. Contrary to popular belief, we do that sometimes. So, no, traffic. Okay, so we're talking about all these great and wonderful things, how many people we can host. We're going to have hotels and fishing and, and then we got a 2-lane road coming in, right? So currently, Northport is under design with TTL. We have a project to rehabilitate 5th Street. And so the scope, the limits of that project start at Main Avenue and heads west along 5th Street, goes past our facility, past Northport Shore, continues towards the airport, and basically ends at our city limits line, which is the entrance to Vandergraaf. Okay. So this project includes, not only does it have pedestrian facilities, because there again, we want everybody to walk. We want you to park at River Run and walk wherever. Has pedestrian facilities. It has some rehabilitation to the existing bridge at 5th Street. It rehabs the roadway, and we have a lot of traffic calming. So there's 2 intersections that are going to get realigned, redesigned, because just to make them safer. And then we have another addition of some traffic calming measures to make sure you're going to be able to come in, you're going to be able to move traffic, but you're going to have to do it in a safe manner. We're going to have a lot of kids around here. We recognize that. We've designed several entrances in to this facility, so there's not going to just be one entrance in.
Fantastic.
So we're looking down the road, okay, so when these entrances get clogged up and we're going to add some more trails and some more pickleball courts, we've got places we've already identified to build new roads in. So we have thought through this. We are going to have infrastructure from Wi-Fi. We've put all the water and sewer and power will be in the ground. So if you come in and you want to build a hotel on our site, you're not tearing the whole world up again. It's going to be plug and play. We've tried to think through what's going to happen to this facility in the next 10, 20 years, and how can we make sure that I'm sure there's things we've missed, but we've tried.
Well, hey, it
to
seems
think.
once again that happy to hear a government thinking ahead of time in the development of this process. So
Someone like Tara is not going to miss on something as simple, one would think, as the size of a garage door to bring stuff in for an event. I'm telling you, I was at a facility and they said, we made a mistake. We forgot about the size of an 18-wheeler. You need to get it in, and the garage was too low. They had to go and replumb that out. And, there's other things like storage space. There's oftentimes not enough storage space.
Never enough storage space.
Trust me, I got kicked out of the master bedroom. I've got to have my clothes somewhere else. Not enough storage space.
Well, and another thing that goes to speak too about not thinking through your facilities on what the use is going to be, because now if I have to buy this floor to bring it in for whatever event I'm going to have, now I have to store that floor.
Right.
Where am I going to put that floor when I don't have it? We have a whole area dedicated just to maintenance. So we're working through that now. What is the best type of building? What's the best kind of layout yard we have? But we have a whole area right now dedicated just to maintenance. We've made sure that we have a road that wraps all the way around our facility. Great walking trail, but also a great trail to hop on a golf cart and be able to bring anything to your concession stands as needed, or if you need to work on a scoreboard or whatever it may be. We trying to have access to anything and everything and make it do a purpose. If you're going to spend the money to put down this road, then why can it not be a walking trail as well? Why can't I ride my bike on it as well?
well, hey, Jacob's about to create a wind turbine over here telling us to wrap. So we got another break. And when we come back, we're going to continue talking all about River Run Park and Northport Shores here on The Reckoning.
Make sure your HVAC unit is running up to speed and keeping your family comfortable all year long with Bibb Heating and Air. Bibb Heating and Air is a fully licensed and insured HVAC company here, providing all of West Alabama with first-class customer service every single time. The owner and operator is Devin Morgan. He's a good buddy of mine. Personal endorsement. He installed my new heat pump about a year ago. Could not be more pleased with the process. It was quick. It was efficient. It was affordable. So call Bibb Heating and Air today at the number on your screen if your system needs a checkup, or if you're considering a new unit. Mention the Reckoning Sports Tourism Podcast, and my pal Devin will knock off your dispatch fee. That's $50 in savings for mentioning the Reckoning. Again, that's Bibb Heating and Air. Call their number on the screen.
And we are back here on The Reckoning, and Coach Staley made a substitution. We've got Frank's out, Chase is in. This is Chase Lucas. He's one of the lead designers on the project. Also with TTL. And Chase, we wanted to bring you on because you offer a bit of a unique perspective. Not only are you involved in making this project come to fruition, but you're also a baseball dad, baseball coach. You've got a lot of vested interest in this project. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, and what you think is so important about this project.
Born and raised here, played sports my entire life. Worked in athletics here at the university along with my family. It's in me. I have a 6-year-old now who plays sports. I have coached now for 3 seasons. It was crazy. He's 6 and I've already coached 3 seasons. But whether it's flag football, basketball, baseball, I enjoy to coach, and I have enjoyed baseball out at Warrior Park. We have just now gotten into the time period where they travel, summer ball, all-stars, and we have recently made a few trips out of town to Calera, to Oxford, some other places, and experienced some of those facilities, and it's been nice because we've been working on this facility. I've been going to these other facilities and trying to think about what I could take from those to incorporate into this one. And I just, Tara's vision and everybody's vision, the groups put together, it's exciting to see this finally coming. I've been waiting on it for years and years. I'm excited to coach my son there. You know, I'm just thrilled that this is finally coming on board. So,
You know, you talk about Warrior, and one thing we haven't discussed is what happens to Warrior.
It's a great question.
You know, I mean, because if anybody's been to Warrior facilities, I mean, my kid played there when he was little, and that's a long time ago. So the plan is, in the next phase of this project, is to rehab Warrior fields. So the goal is never to have these great, beautiful new facilities that are tournament that Warriors still can play, but we'll have another phase come in once this is built where Warrior has a place to go. You know, we'll have another phase that'll come in. It needs to be funded still, but we'll have another phase that comes in and actually will redo Warriors Field. So they've always been thought about, and so we do want that to get out there as well, is that we are going to work with them too to get them some nice new facilities.
Off of that, given that the facilities are well needed at Warrior, there has still been growth there. It's every season that I've coached there, the numbers keep going up and going up and going up, and there's so much, there's so much talent there. There's so many kids there. There's 1,000 kids plus, age 4 through 12, with another 400 or 500, older kids. They go to the regionals and states and World Series every single year and win state championships and win World Series, and so. Given that the facilities have not necessarily been updated in a while, the kids are still coming here to play. So I can imagine
But that speaks volumes to the coaching. You know, I've been here 30 plus years, and I can tell you my son played baseball at Cottondale. And, they didn't have great facilities, but what was good about them is they had really good coaching. But we knew if we wanted to advance, we needed to go to Warrior. Way back then, he's 32 now. It was, to me, back in the day, it was Warrior and then Hillcrest and then, whatever, I guess Parks and Recreation and whatnot. But that speaks volumes to the fact that with the numbers continuing to grow, quality coaching, what's going to happen when this is built? And then when the rehab happens over there, which also, let me throw this in, those additional, how many fields are there currently?
There's currently 6. At Warrior Park.
So add that to the fields that we've got coming, the 9, you now are putting yourself in a whole nother realm to bring in bigger tournaments. So, I mean, again, thank you for what you do for the community, and also thanks for telling us about 6-year-olds traveling. That's just crazy. I got out of college
what's
coaching.
Crazy is the parenting.
That's right.
I got out of college coaching for a lot of reasons. One is mediocrity in the SEC, and at Alabama doesn't cut it. But the other is I was starting to have to recruit sophomores and freshmen. Now we've got 6-year-olds traveling.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
They are.
Hey, but crazy good for cities. Right. Economic impact.
Absolutely.
Because mamas are going to come in, they're going to watch Johnny or Susie if it's softball, whatever, but they're going to be doing this, and they're going to shop local. So anyway,
And eat local. I mean,
And eat
our
local.
we have a couple, restaurants that sponsor our show, and they're going to benefit from this as well, even though they're in Tuscaloosa on this side of the river. I mean,
that's a show in
the
itself.
entire community is going to
How
benefit.
many new restaurants? How many new businesses? Lost Pizza as an example.
Yeah.
Love that place. Even Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
And I see where there's
like
a
a
new
new
Starbucks
Yeah.
coming.
Right.
A lot happening in Northport.
And I think too, I mean, it's exciting for me just to see the project come to fruition, and then the kids that are going to enjoy it. But you don't the effects, the snowball effect of this big of a facility to what it's going to be able to do, the jobs that it's going to provide, and just the quality of life. But now I can drive within a few minutes and get a Starbucks or a Lost Pizza or something that you didn't have access to before. I think that's very exciting for the city. And we've made, we've talked about the vision of staying with that historic, the Rickwood fields and those kind of things, but we've also, and right now you can't tell because we've got a construction site, but it's very important to us that we keep the history of this area there as well. I mean, we're making sure everything that we design is going to be the existing Kentucky Park. I mean, it's going to be there. I mean, those trees are going to be there. Now, we may, fix some bathrooms and upgrade some, things just long-term maintenance that's needed, but that park's going to be there. We recognize that we can build around that. And we've planned around that, so.
Well, I can envision a whole bunch of families down there, almost tailgating, if you will.
Yeah, in shade.
In shade, which we talked about, needing that,
I
right?
need to do a
Especially in
catering
the summer.
service,
Yeah.
or
Food truck, starting to look
food
good. doesn't
truck,
it?
yeah.
Don, you kind of mentioned a
Don's
little
food
bit,
truck.
started talking all about the number of fields. So if you add River Run Parks to Warriors existing, and if you were to merge that and be able to hold just a huge tournament, that kind of segues a little bit to, who is going to be responsible for marketing River Run Park to events rights holders at these trade shows to say, hey, we have this outstanding new facility. Come bring your teams, come bring your families and to Northport. What's sort of the vision there?
Luckily, we have a group, we have a team that's going to be able to do that. So Bullpen is who we're currently negotiating with to be our operator and manager of the park. They themselves have 2,500 kids, I think, or 2,500 teams within their purview that they are able to book. And what we really liked about them is they understand the local, and they want to be able to house other things here as well. So we're working with our Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports. Robin has been great to work with, and they've already identified an event that they think would fit well at River Run Park. Don's worked with us on that as well. We've already reached out to Bullpen. So we're all working together, I think, to make sure it's success. That's one thing that's so fun about this project is everybody realizes the importance of it to the community, and they're all very anxious to talk about it and to help it be successful, so we're really grateful for that.
Great. And we had mentioned Bullpen earlier on in one of the earlier segments, and just wanted to just rehash kind of, what the goal was, making sure that people listening understand we're marketing this as a community pretty heavily. And we want, not only do we want this ballpark to be built and this entire project to be built, but we want it to be full too, right?
Right, and this is new for Northport. I mean, we have never really had a lot of tourism. We haven't had a lot of things that provide tourism to come to our community. And so now that that's changing, it's important, the council's recognizing it's important that we start getting involved more in that tourism world that we haven't really had a place in before because we just haven't had tourism. So now as that's changing, we're starting to change what tourism and our relationship with tourism looks like as a community. And we've made a lot of progress. I mean, we've tripled what we've been able to donate to the tourism, Tuscaloosa Tourism. We've got working really well with Kelsey and her team. So I think we're going to be able to, hopefully, we'll be booking people out 2 or 3 years.
Outstanding.
It's exciting time. Real quick, I'd be remiss if I didn't utilize Chase real quick to tell us, what's it look like right now? I mean, I know that the last question is probably anticipated opening, but what's it look like right now?
Well, they're starting to look like baseball fields.
That's a good start.
Yeah, you've got stone and fence. We have a drone fly every month and try to keep everybody updated and let everybody know what's going on and where we are. So, we're looking at a few more months really to get the civil site package done, and they're going to start looking more like fields, and then the building package is coming right behind it to get all the structures, to get the seating and concessions in, and so it's looking like a ballpark. It's looking like a ballpark with a huge parking lot, and it's exciting to see.
Tell me, I can't wait to go down there again, but tell me about hydro seeding versus sodding versus turf. What are we looking like there? Tell them what we've got.
Well, we're mostly sodding a lot of the areas that are visible, that we want to look pretty. Outside on the edges, on the slopes, we're laying blankets down and we're seeding. Just trying to stabilize everything. We don't want runoff. We want it to look pretty, especially when opening day comes. We don't want rills on slopes. We want plants and sod covering the ground, looking good and fresh. So, it will be landscaped and manicured well I think, for opening day. So.
And the turf itself, I mean, the drainage, tell folks out there that are interested, you know, I look at it, the fact that it is up so high, we're going to easily have great drainage. There are already turf fields, we know that. But sometimes turf fields hold water. So tell us a little technical side of it. How's that drainage work out?
Well, there's
Because you want to be able to turn over those fields as fast as you can, get them back to playing.
well, these fields are designed to drain in hopefully 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, there's a drainage system underneath the fields. On every single field, the entire field, there's stone that a buildup of stone and pipe beneath it that will get that water out, take it to Mill Creek, take it somewhere outside of the park, and we expect to be able to play quickly if there is a rain event. So that's another exciting thing about this. You don't have to wait for 2 hours, 3 hours a day if there was a storm to come through. So,
Okay, that's good to know. And that's good for organizers to know. Because whether it's Bullpen selling it, or Robbins, or myself, been in the business a long time, to be able to have that data when you go to make a sales call, hey, not only do we sit up high, we've got amazing drainage. We're back to playing fast, because those event rights holders, that's what they want. Because look, they're in the business to turn a profit. So we're in the business to more than just turn a profit. It's about the quality of life in our community, what we offer, but the aesthetic part of it, I can't wait to see the turf down. So
And when might that be? What's our anticipated opening date?
Well, our anticipated opening date is fall of 2025. So we had a big night at council, the last council meeting. We did lighting, we did turf, we did the vertical, which is the grandstands and the concession stands, and we did a lease with Alabama Power for roadway lighting and parking lot lighting. So we'll be ready to open, have a big grand opening.
Outstanding. I can't wait. Looking forward to it. Well, hey, Tara, Chase, Frank, thank you all for coming on, talking about this outstanding project, Northport Shores, River Run Park. Really going to be a tremendous asset for the Tuscaloosa community, and certainly for the city of Northport, who are really coming on strong in the tourism game, as you mentioned. So appreciate you guys' time. You know, Don, I usually hate the summertime. I don't like the heat, and I live in the wrong place for that. But August of next year, I'm pretty excited about it now. After chatting with Tara and Frank and Chase about River Run Park, their anticipated opening date sometime in the middle of August of next year. Man, what an exciting facility. And I know we've talked about it a lot. We've talked about how excited we are for it. River Run Park's our title sponsor. But I mean, just hearing more and more about it, hearing their vision, hearing how they planned everything out, how they anticipated future problems and said, you know what, we're going to squash this bug before it even becomes a problem.
here's the way I look at it. It's simply this. You have two folks over there at the City of Northport. Obviously, they knew what they were doing when they recruited them to come on board, Glenda Webb and Tara Tubbs. Those two were so heavily involved on so many sporting events or entertainment events, whether the amphitheater or we had mentioned the air show, I could go on and on. They don't just know about those events on how to book them, but they know how to run them. Mm-hmm. Then you bring in somebody like Birch Dalton that is part of the #1 mega sports complex in the country. You can't lose there. You got Bullpen that knows what they're doing. Mm-hmm. All of that coupled together, and then you bring in Visit Tuscaloosa, what Kelsey is doing with her marketing team over there. You know, I think it's a win-win situation for our entire community. And it's just scary to think about once they get the kinks out. And there's always going to be kinks in opening facilities and booking events. But once they start humming along, it's going to be a great marriage between tourism and local component. And the business district, the business owners around this complex and in Northport and across the river, they're all going to benefit from this. Because trust me, I saw it in Foley.
Yeah.
What they're doing down there, which segues into where we're going to be going soon, we were supposed to be down there, but you have the ball fields, the event center, the hotels, the OWA, the water park, all those things down there, similar here.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be more excited for our entire community. And, you know, for me being part of it, this is maybe the third time is the charm for me. Obviously, we had a sports complex that was agreed upon, and the next day was a tornado. Second time around, don't want to talk about that. And then go down to Foley and help build that complex. But now they get to come back home and be a small part of this. I'm just honored that they would ask me to help out.
Yeah, well, it's an exciting venue for sure, and an exciting overall project. I feel like every time we bring up River Run Park, we talk about River Run Park, but the bigger scheme, Northport Shores, developing that entire waterfront, it's going to be badass.
Well, and
There's no
maybe
other
I'll
way to
finally
describe
get a chance to play pickleball. You know, I haven't
Finally,
played
yeah.
since March.
it. And maybe you can finally teach me how to play.
Hey, that's
And
no.
we can get my fat ass on a court somewhere.
Well, I don't like the
the
thought
oven.
of you at the front of the net. I mean, pounding me.
That's called the kitchen, right?
That's the kitchen.
That's the kind of kitchen I need to be in, not the one in my house where the fridge is. I need to stay out of that one. But you know, Don, I spent almost a full 2 years in sports tourism, but I spent most of those during COVID when everything was locked down and we weren't traveling anywhere. We were hosting events out in Texas. This is gonna be my first trade show.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was my first trade show. I was set to go to Sports ETA back in April of 2020. April 2020 in Kansas City. It got canceled, and
You
looking
are
forward to going to
in
sports
for
conference.
a treat. Let me tell you what, they don't come any finer than Lou Mengsall from U.S. Sports Congress and his wife Kathy. They put on a hell of a show. I know that we probably have at least 10 on the docket that we're going to be interviewing. We've got event rights holders, we've got CVBs and sports commissions, we have, facility owners.
Facility owners, yeah.
So all that coupled together, might even play a little bit of pickleball down there or at least some golf, but we're definitely going to eat some seafood.
All right, I'm looking forward to it for sure. So that'll be our next episode, and you know, we're heading into the holiday season, and you know, we're shooting today, a few days before Thanksgiving, and want to give everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving by the time this episode comes out. I mean, getting ready for the holiday season here in Tuscaloosa. So, yeah, some exciting shows coming up on the docket.
Well, and don't forget about Foley.
Absolutely, yeah, Foley.
We were supposed to go down there a
Another
few weeks
beach
ago.
town.
Another beach, yep. So hopefully we'll lock that down. I'm going to run down there. I think you're flying in to
I'm flying into
Tampa, maybe
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers. I'm going to drive down, but I'm going to hit Foley. They've got a massive gymnastics tournament, and I'm going to get a chance to see Eric and Aaron Keitlinger and Mike and Cindy Holifer. These were movers and shakers. They are movers and shakers here with the Bama Bounders, but they're also putting on the state, I think it's the compulsory tournament down there. There's probably 1,500 competitors. So get a chance to see my buddies down there at Foley Sports Tourism, and then we'll come up with a date for our show maybe after the first of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to that, getting down to Foley and taking the show on the road. I really enjoyed when we were able to go up to Florence and visit the Shoals. So looking forward to some more road shows coming up.
I think Jacob enjoyed up there too. Didn't you say that was on your bucket list now?
Yeah,
Gun Runner, that's definitely on mine.
absolutely. So really looking forward to what's next. And thanks as always to all of our sponsors and of course all of our listeners as well.